Willkommen in der Kaffeepause, dem Podcast zum Hochschulleben in 15 Minuten. Hier gibt es Informationen zum Studieren und Forschen an der Hochschule Niederrhein. Wir sprechen über Abschlussarbeiten, Forschungsprojekte und spannende Geschichten aus der Hochschule. Dear students, welcome to another episode of the Kaffeepause podcast from Hochschule Niederrhein. And as you recognize already, this will be an episode where we'll talk in English. And I have a special guest. My colleague, Sue Rivero, is with me. Hello, Sue. Nice to meet you here in the podcast.
Yes, hello. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
Yeah, it's very nice to have you here. And we will be talking about going abroad and studying internationally. But first of all, the students this semester, this term, decided that we have to start with some rapid-fire questions. So we go ahead with some rapid-fire questions.
Go ahead.
And the first one is, do you prefer coffee or tea?
Coffee, 1,000 times.
And do you prefer reading books, or will we be able to draw you on the podcasting side?
I love reading books, but I also hear a lot of podcasts while running.
Okay.
So both.
Very good. And do you prefer summer vacation or winter vacation?
Summer vacation.
Always, okay.
Yes.
And Erasmus or free mover programs?
Erasmus.
Very good. So there we have the first aspect of going abroad is applying which program would be helpful for students. But first of all, when we talk about studying internationally, going abroad, being for some months in another country, what is worthwhile for students doing that? What do you think?
Well, I always tell the students, while you are in higher education, it's not only about knowledge, it's also about getting another personality. Your personality, your personal branding, if I might say, will be different from the time you started higher education to the time you finish.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to use a lot of resources that universities offer. So for example, not only going to your classes, but also using the labs, going to certain extracurricular activities. And internationalization really broadens your perspectives
Mm-hmm.
because you will be able to see other professors with another culture of teaching. So that would be first an advantage for you. You would broaden the perspectives about the knowledge that you're getting. You will be able to meet people from other cultures and you will know a lot about yourself. So the time from higher education will enrich your personality. But if you want some practical recommendations, employability, there is nowadays a lot of keywords that employers want to see in the CV. Example,
Mm-hmm.
resilience, empathy, leadership, adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to show that. But when you list an international experience, you can say that you have resilience because you were going to the unknown when you are young.
Mm-hmm.
So this international experience really helps you to back up those keywords that employers are looking for. Particularly, you can show a second language or another level of English.
Mm-hmm.
You can show you did a whole semester, and that is something they are looking for a lot. So it's highly recommended.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. But what requirements do students need to meet in order to participate in an international studies program or in going abroad?
So the most important requirements had to do with the credits. And this is a very fortunate and very punctual question because now we have a new, what is called the Prüfungsordnung. So we have new requirements and we have different programs. So first, for the regular bachelor, so what we call the VWL, bachelor study programs, they need now with the new exam regulations a minimum of 70 ECTS that are acquired from at least the first 3 semesters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That is for the regular bachelor program VWL. For the students that are in the part-time bachelor program, they also need 70 ECTS, but they need to be acquired in the first 4 semesters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? For the old regulations, if some of these students are still in the time for applying, it is 80 ECTS, but also acquired in that amount of semesters.
Mm-hmm.
3, and for the part-time, it's the 4 semesters. Now, at our university, we also have the full international study program, which is the Bachelor Sales and Marketing. And for that, they need minimum of 75 ECTS because for them is mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
And they do that in the 5th semester. Okay? So, masters. For the master's program, they need a minimum of 20 ECTS, and they usually go in the 3rd semester.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, something very important that they need to know about the ECTS, because we always tell them you have to prepare in advance. For example, ideal 10 months, 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a process where they choose a university, and then they have to nominate the students that they want to go to that university. If by that time they don't have the ECTS yet, it doesn't matter. They need to have this amount of ECTS before leaving Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are confident that by that time you will pass your courses and you will get it.
Mm-hmm.
But they could apply before even if they don't have the required ECTS. So that's very important for the students to know.
Yeah, that's important to know, I guess.
So after the credits, they also need English language proficiency at level B2, particularly for the programs that do not have a mandatory semester abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this BWL or the master's program that is the MBM, Masters in Business Management. They need the B2, and that can be acquired or proven with, for example, in our university, with the course of Wirtschafts English or Business English 2, with a minimum grade of 2.3. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also other possibilities, such as the DAAD language test. The language center also gives us some certificates,
Mm-hmm.
and the TOEFL and so on. But for this one, is when I tell the students, you can contact me, and I will sort of forward or connect you with the language center, because
Mm-hmm.
they are very helpful in specific cases when it comes to language. Our students that study these international programs like Bachelor Sales and Marketing and the Masters in International Management, they don't need that because they are studying already full programs in English.
Mm-hmm.
What I also need you to know about this is checking the universities, but because each university might have other regulations. Example, our partners from the US, they require the C1 level.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that would be, let's say, the minimum requirements to go abroad: credits and the language proficiency.
Okay, very good. And then I guess there are several different funding programs that a student can take advantage of. Can you give us some examples of the most popular programs that are available?
Yes, so the most popular is Erasmus. And this is something that we need to take advantage of, because the whole Erasmus programs, they do a big effort to actually give the opportunity not only to students but also for staff to create this culture in higher education. So that would be the first. And you can use these Erasmus programs with our partner universities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we at the internationalization team, we work on the partnerships so we can benefit from those funding programs. So this program then allow you to not have tuition fees in these universities. They provide the support for the students and so on. But let's say that one student would like to go to Australia or would like to go to a university that is outside of the EU, or as what we call free movers, that they go with non-partner universities. There is also this scheme, this funding scheme called PROMOS. And approximately, they grant between 350 and 550 euros per month.
Mhm.
And there are possibilities to apply for some additional travel grants. Okay, so in this part of the funding, also the international office supports with more precise information regarding specific circumstances. But there are other funding options that the students should look after, and we have a Moodle room that at the end, I believe, we will have this link for this information. But it's also the HAW, it's in German, it's the HAW International from the DAAD. There is also the Fulbright Scholarship Program, which is particularly useful for programs in the US. And well, that would be the main that I would recommend to the students.
Very good. Thank you very much for providing us those examples. Nevertheless, studying in those programs, I guess there are some common organizational challenges. Do you have some tips for the students how to deal with those organizational challenges?
Well, I have been learning for the time I've been in the university what are some of these challenges, and I prepare a couple of those, but you have to consider students are doing this process for the first time, and that already shows a great deal of maturity they have to pass through. It starts the great experience, but they have been quite good. But particularly challenging is the deadlines, So that's why we recommend, please start planning for 1 year. And if you know that your major or your career, your bachelor program has a mandatory stay abroad, from the first day, start planning that. Start working with it so you have time to check to other funding schemes. So that would be the most challenging. Second for them is usually selecting the courses, because the first thing they do is that they look in the mobility tool at all the partner universities we have. And usually they are motivated to go to Spain. Okay, so that's the first motivation. And then they look for the courses. Fine. So that's also a bit challenging for them. And what I tell them is you need to look for courses that are related with your major, with your bachelor, but also take a look at courses that you don't have. Really take that opportunity. So don't try to just repeat courses to pass. Really go for the challenge, go for the experience, and prepare the learning agreement. When you have that, if you want an appointment with your study program director, with myself, or with our coordinator of international programs, which is Anthony Efonemchi, you are well prepared for a good discussion, because they will just check that you have something to do with your major. But really take a look at the place, take a look at the courses, navigate that. That requires time. The visa is also an issue, and that's exactly why the time is crucial. So really start preparing that in due time, and especially nowadays, you see how our world is moving. So from one moment to the other could be changes. So that is something to keep always in mind, especially with the language certificates. Finding accommodation could be also a challenge, and also, when they arrive. My best tip, and what I have done and has worked very well, is I pair the students. So, for example, if I have a student that went to South Korea, and I have a student that wants to go to South Korea, I help them with some of these requirements up to the learning agreement. But the rest, even though we do have written information, I send an email and I pair them up, and they have a talk. And until now, none of the students have denied to have a talk with the students. So if you really are unsure of what's going to happen if I go to South Korea, I have a student in Hawaii, I had students in San Francisco, let me know. And my students are very, very keen to have these peer conversations. That would be the best tip.
I guess a person that is open to go abroad is also open to have a peer discussion with
Yes.
other students.
Exactly.
Therefore,
Yeah.
that's totally understandable. So if we focus on the Hochschule Niederrhein, what specific countries and partner universities are available to our students to go abroad? Do you have some examples here as well?
So we have like 40 partner universities, but
That's a lot.
Yes, actually, there's a lot, and the most, let's say, the ones that the students like to go the most had to do with going to Barcelona.
Mhm.
They
Which
also
is
like
a
to go.
beautiful city.
Yes, it is
But-
a beautiful city.
But it's a city that became so expensive over
Yeah.
the last 5 to 10 years.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And actually, this is when the students would be better off having this conversation with the students. I know I have now students in Barcelona. So for those that want to go to Barcelona, there is a good contact for this peer learning.
Yeah.
To Barcelona. Students have reported great experiences in the university in Budapest.
Mhm.
So it's also a beautiful city. It's also more of a university environment. And that's also where they are going. South Korea became also quite popular because there are already many others. Like I see that many want to go.
Mhm.
So that is also where I'm so happy to pair you up with a student. For example, I have students, and this is a good tip to mention. Some students have their life very well organized here in job and so on, and they don't feel like really going too much abroad. Well,
Mhm.
don't worry. We have great universities in the Netherlands.
Mhm.
And it's also, it might be hours away,
Mhm.
but it's worth it. It's you are from Germany, it's a different culture. It's
Mhm.
a different way of looking even at business itself. The entrepreneurial culture is growing at a different pace than
Mhm.
here. So they could benefit from also going to the Fontes, to going to Saxion University, universities also in Enschede, which are also in the nearby. And that is also a great international experience for those that are hesitating or feel a little bit less willing to have a drastic change. The Netherlands are great partners. We have great research projects and teaching projects with them. So, yeah, that would be some of the examples. Mhm.
And I guess we have to talk about the US. So what is the current situation under the current US administration? It made going abroad very difficult over the last month. So what is the current status when we regard America?
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of uncertainty. And that's
Mhm.
also for us because, well, we care for our students. And if you remember last year or the last semesters, there was a recommendation from
Mhm.
the international office. Or we were fortunate to be invited to the consul, to visit the consul in Düsseldorf in September. And actually, this was a great question to us. So what is the sentiment? What is the environment at the moment for our students? Because our students want to go there. We have a great program with San Francisco. And they actually said they were very positive. They said there is no evidence that we have been rejecting visas for international students. We are still open for receiving international students, and we should not give too much thought about it. So pretty much welcome for international students. But what I always say, these kind of things could change from one moment to the other. So if there is something where we think that our students might be facing extra challenges, we will send an email of our recommendation and we will turn them and warn them.
Mhm.
At the end, the students, if they go as free movers, they might take another decision, but we will be careful with those instances and inform the students about it. Yes.
That's good to know. So finally, do you have a hint for our students who are still unsure whether a semester abroad is something for them or not? Do you have something to tell them?
Yes. Look, a great hint for those that are really hesitant, that they don't know, they should be aware that our university, and as part of this internationalization team at the faculty, we have been working on creating internationalization experience that are, for example, a week long. and they should be aware of those opportunities. We just came back from Estonia, where we took 10 students for a blended intensive program, and they could get accredited as international experience. Usually, these kind of experiences are under the registration of the module from Judith Collier or Sarah Keeler, and also my colleague, also Nicoleta. She also has these experiences. So there are several of my colleagues that are doing a great job in creating these small, or let's say shorter, international experiences, but they are huge. They are very, very valuable because the back office, the work it's a lot from my colleagues, which I really admire, but they give the opportunity for the students to have a little taste of internationalization. And it's really intense, but it's a week. So they can have those experiences, and then they will start deciding what is it for them. Tip number 2, really express that. What are you uncertain about? Because usually we are scared of something we don't understand. So if that is the topic, you can make an appointment, and we can talk through those uncertainties due to information. And the third tip is really talk to students. Particularly, you would know that in the Bachelor Sales and Marketing and in the Masters in International Management, the students have been abroad. Talk to them. They will tell you way more things that I could even tell you, and that would be a great first step. Okay?
And I guess for those students that are very quickly in listening to this episode, shortly after this episode is being published, you have an information for students that want to go abroad. I guess it is in the beginning of December, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. We're doing an online session, so it's more flexible for the schedule of the students on the 9th of December. At 5, so it's from 5 p.m. or 17 hours, 5 p.m. to 6:30 online, and we will have some students that are abroad connecting as guests, so you can ask some other questions, and that session will be fully in German. So for those that are still hesitant because of the language, that session will be in German for all the students, open for all the students. Just be attentive to the announcement in Moodle. We send an email so you can register for it. And if you can, I have another minute just to give a quick announcement.
Sure.
Because some students have noticed they are not aware of the amount of information we have in Moodle. And sometimes they want appointments to ask things that are there. We give the appointment, but they will come back. So I recommend you to review the minimum information that we have and come with questions that require a lot of more talk, like these uncertainties, what is the university that I should go? I'm hesitating here and there. The personal attention should be for that we have a talk about those things. So review the information we have, and also be aware that we have a coordinator for all the international programs, which is at the moment Anthony Efonemchi. He's covering for the maternity leave from Christina Grip. Some were more familiar perhaps with this name. So now Anthony is there, and Anthony provides personal attention, particularly once you have your university and once you have the courses. So he will support you on preparing the learning agreement. Yes.
That's great. So, and much more information can be found on the Moodle platform.
Yes.
We have the link provided.
In German and in English.
Yeah, that's also important.
And there are also reports from students, because after they go abroad, the students have to do a report, so you can read their experiences. Actually, that's another tip for the students. They have a report on their experience, so you can read some of those.
That's very good.
Yes.
That's very good. And I guess you have those online meetings on a regular basis for each semester or something.
Each
there will
semester.
be information talks about going abroad.
Exactly. We do one that is general, and then we do some that are particular for the international study programs, and also for the master's program in the German program, which will be in January and will be announced also in due time. Yes.
So an official shout out to all our students. let's think about going abroad and make experience all over the world. That's a good hint, and that helps with everything in life. So, Sue, once again, thank you very much for being guest here at the Kaffeepause podcast. And the next episode will be in German again. So let's head on to the next episode. Thank you very much, Sue.
Thank you. Bye-bye.